For the past decade, we've all been watching this brutal, high-stakes battle play out for dominance in the EV market. But what if I told you that was literally just the warm-up round? Yeah, the intense competition we've seen on our highways, it's currently spilling over into a brand new, incredibly futuristic arena. We're talking about a massive shift from four wheels to two legs. And honestly, the implications for our global economy are absolutely staggering. Let's get right into it.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a looming heavyweight prize fight between two massive automotive giants over the future of humanoid robots. We're going to look at the data, the pricing strategies, and the radically different philosophies driving this brand new tech war. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the new robotic rivalry. Then, Hyundai's premium strategy, followed by Tesla's mass market play. Next, the Apple versus Samsung analogy, China's disruptive price threat, and finally, the ultimate deciding factor. All right, Section 1, the new robotic rivalry, from EVs to androids. So, to really understand where we're going, we first have to look at where these companies have been. You've got Tesla's Optimus squaring off against Hyundai's Atlas, and these two machines, they represent a sort of second realm of rivalry for these companies. Hyundai brings this massive legacy manufacturing pedigree to the table, right? But Tesla was built from the ground up as an EV company, totally backed by large-scale production and, frankly, aggressive cost control. Historically, Tesla has largely outpaced Hyundai in global battery EV sales, and they definitely have a history of using aggressive pricing to defend their turf. So, the big question industry observers are asking right now is, will Tesla deploy that exact same brutal pricing strategy as the humanoid robotics market starts to scale?
Section 2. Hyundai's premium powerhouse, building the industrial athlete.
Now, keep in mind, Hyundai isn't exactly starting from scratch here. Atlas was actually developed by its U.S. subsidiary, you've probably heard of them, the famous robotics firm Boston Dynamics. But what's really interesting right now is this number, $130,000. Yeah. According to a recent report by the Export-Import Bank of Korea, that is the expected price tag for the Atlas robot at launch. That is a massive premium entry price. It tells us right away that Hyundai is definitely not looking to put a robot in every single home right out of the gate. No, they are targeting high-performance industrial applications. They're building a highly capable premium machine designed for really demanding environments. And, well, they're pricing it accordingly. But wait, because that strategy evolves rapidly. The magic word here is scale. While that initial launch price is steep, unit costs are projected to fall incredibly sharply once production ramps up. Once annual production hits 30,000 units, the cost of an Atlas unit could plummet to about $35,000. That's roughly a quarter of its initial level. And if they hit 50,000 units, it falls even further to around $30,000. So Hyundai's whole strategy relies heavily on proving the tech at a premium price point first, and then aggressively leveraging scale economics to bring that cost way down later.
Moving on to Section 3, Tesla's mass market play, the aggressive undercut. Okay, so Tesla CEO Elon Musk has a completely different vision for how to enter this space, $20,000 to $30,000. Musk has indicated that the Optimus robot could be priced in this range right out of the gate. Just think about that for a second. That's less than half the cost of a typical Tesla car today. At launch, Hyundai's Atlas could carry a price tag more than 4 times that of Optimus. Now sure, that gap will likely narrow to around 1.5 times as production ramps up for both of them, but this initial entry point, it totally shows Tesla's intention to accelerate mass adoption and capture massive market share super early by offering a dramatically lower price. It's a huge undercut. Section 4, the Apple versus Samsung strategy, 2 paths to market. So, how do we make sense of these two vastly divergent approaches? Well, Professor Chung Tai-Woo over at Kyunghee University brilliantly compares this dynamic directly to the smartphone wars. Hyundai, he says, is taking an approach a lot like Apple's. They're prioritizing high-performance machines first and proving their unquestionable viability in highly demanding industrial settings. Tesla, on the flip side, is expected to adopt a multi-tiered pricing strategy. They want to secure early leadership with entry-level models meant for light industrial work or even home use, alongside higher-spec versions for factories. And this brilliantly illustrates a strategy remarkably similar to Samsung's smartphone lineup. It's premium, proven industrial viability versus broad, mass-market commercialization. But it is absolutely crucial to understand that this price gap isn't just about branding. It reflects actual physical performance differences. Take a look at the lift capacity. Atlas can lift up to 50 kilograms. Optimus
only about 20 kilograms. And Atlas offers far more advanced joint mobility compared to the standard mobility on the Optimus. So the target applications are super clear. Heavy industrial for Atlas, light industrial or home for Optimus. As Professor Chang notes, if Tesla ultimately wants to target heavy industrial applications and compete directly with Atlas on the factory floor, they're going to need to upgrade those specs, and likely their prices along with it.
Section 5. China's disruptive price threat, the scale economics wildcard.
Just when you think this is a neat two-horse race, we've got to consider a massive wildcard that could upend the entire board. What happens when the unparalleled manufacturing engine of China enters the chat? Because price competition might ultimately extend way beyond just the Hyundai-Tesla rivalry. Professor Chang issued a very stark warning here. He said, when it comes to mass production, no one can match China. He added that aggressive pricing from Chinese manufacturers could completely reset industry benchmarks, and that would dramatically intensify the pressure on both Hyundai and Tesla.
And the proof of that threat is right here in this number, $13,500. According to US-based market tracker RoboSoups, humanoid robots globally are expected to range from about $8,000 to more than $250,000 this year. But sitting right at the absolute bottom of that market is China's Unitree G1. It's a fully featured model priced at just $13,500. That makes it currently the lowest cost option out there. I mean, think about it. If Hyundai is banking on $130,000 and Tesla's pushing for $20,000, a $13,500 fully featured machine from China totally changes the entire economic calculus of this burgeoning industry. It's a real game changer. Section 6. The ultimate deciding factor. Beyond the price tag. Because winning this robotics war is going to take a lot more than just a low price tag or a strong hydraulic joint. So the crucial point here is that this market's evolution is currently surrounded by massive institutional uncertainties. As we've seen, Tesla is pushing hard into home deployment, while Hyundai remains laser-focused on factory floors. And they aren't alone. US-based 1X Technologies is aiming to begin initial deliveries of its home-use humanoid robot Neo this year. But the overarching issue across all these companies, it's the total lack of an established regulatory framework. And that vacuum of regulation introduces massive, massive uncertainty as this market tries to evolve from science fiction into our everyday reality. I actually want to read this quote from Han Jae Kwon, a robotics engineering professor at Hanyang University, because it perfectly captures the stakes. He says, household humanoid robots are not just about technological readiness. Safety standards and certification requirements will be critical. How companies navigate those institutional hurdles will determine long-term viability. See, Professor Han points out that Tesla's push into home deployment might actually carry far greater regulatory uncertainty than Hyundai's factory-focused model. A controlled factory floor is a known, predictable environment. A chaotic family living room, that is a completely different regulatory nightmare. Which leaves us with this final burning question to close out our explainer today. Ultimately, will the premium, factory-first industrial powerhouse of Hyundai or the aggressive, mass-market, home-focused disruptor of Tesla win the battle for our future workforce? Or will Chinese manufacturing swoop in and undercut them both? The strategies are set, the prices are projected, and the robots are quite literally walking out of the labs. It is going to be a fascinating few years ahead, and paying close attention to these vastly different roadmaps will be key to understanding the future of automation. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating topic with me today. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.